Hey, tough and the out of this world story from Street Travel. There are ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back in Street Travel. I am your host Manir.
I, female 25 husband, male 29, has a very delusional sister-in-law, female 27, who we will call Kelly. Kelly was the girlfriend of my husband's late brother. They were not married, but she was allowed to be called sister-in-law for the sake of their 4-year-old son. Hence, the title, half-cooked sister-in-law. Kelly was actually a nice person at first, but her delusional tendencies just go over the top. She once accused one of my husband's cousins of seducing her. In her words, he was madly in love with her, which was never true as he actually was the same to everyone else as he was with her. My issues started with her when she started targeting my husband and requesting all kinds of BS from him. She once asked him to sleep in their unit because she said her son was scared. Mind you, they only had one bed and it was on the floor in the middle of a tiny square room which was the whole unit. We asked her to just come over to our home which is bigger and had enough space for her to stay for a while since we also have a spare room. She and the child could use it. She refused and insisted on my husband to come over. My husband refused and told his mom, who had Kelly, to go over to their house and stay for a while. The second incident was when she insisted that my husband should go with her and her child to the mall and spend some time together. This request was because, according to her, she needs help cause she's a helpless single mother with a fatherless child and her child needs a father figure. My husband asked if I could go with them, but she made excuses as to why I couldn't go. My husband then outright refused and said just to bring the babysitter assigned to her kid, cause my mother-in-law sponsored a babysitter for them after all the things she complained about. After all that, Kelly started to pick on things my husband likes. He likes that I wear skin-tight dresses and leggings because they compliment my bum. #humble brag. She started wearing the same clothes. My husband likes certain foods I make for him, so she learns how to make the food and purposely makes too much so she can give some to him in front of me with a crap-eating smile. And it did not stop there. She also tries to copy me as much as she can. Whenever I buy something new, she buys the same thing in the next 3 minutes 4 days. My husband and I like dogs, so I adopted a puppy. And what do you know? She has one a week after. She copies everything: clothes, makeup, jewelry, etc. It was getting a little creepy, until one day, at a family gathering, she just outright stated that my husband's nephew, her child, looked so much like my husband and would pass off as his kid, and my husband looked nothing like his nephew. His nephew literally has his late father's face, like it was copied and pasted. At the same time, my husband and his brother looked nothing alike. I blurted a very audible, "No they don't." This was followed by my husband's sister saying, "Are you blind? They look nothing like each other. I would say he has his father's face." Kelly then responded, "Actually, people would mistake them for a father and son." She then proceeds to whip out her phone and show the wallpaper of it as my husband and his nephew smiling together. I looked at the phone and her and said, "Oh, is this why you've been trying to get my husband's attention the whole time?" Confused, my mother-in-law asked, "What do you mean?" I then said, "Well, why don't you ask Kelly? She's been trying to get my husband alone with her for some time now. Good thing your son's not an idiot." Kelly then shouts, "What the hell is your problem?" I was trying to give my son some normalcy and experience having a family and a father by trying to take my husband. "You are a homewrecker in the making, a stalker and a creep. No wonder no one would date you. God, your child would be better off without this floozy of a mom in his life," I yelled back at her. I stood up, thanked everyone for their time, and proceeded to leave with my husband. On the way home, my husband told me that what I said wasn't nice. I asked him if he was defending her. He said no. He said that Kelly deserved to be told off, but not in a humiliating manner and definitely not in front of the kids. We didn't talk on the rest of the way home. I'm now here typing this out in the toilet. I just really couldn't take her Delulu self anymore, and that's what I exploded. So, am I the a-hole and just a 5% everybody sucks here? Kelly sucks for sure. She is the a-hole in this situation, no doubt about it. The only reason I'm giving it a 5% where you're a little bit of the a-hole, it's because if you went off on her and did it in front of the kids, yeah, that wasn't kinda cool. But that's it. If the kids would have been in another room or playing outside or whatever, yeah, go off on her. She sucks absolutely. I understand that her situation could be complicated or really sad for that matter, but still, no right to try to drag your husband into her weird little world. And everything she's doing to get his attention is just not right. It's gross. So yeah, she's definitely in a hole. And in my opinion, again, you're 95% not the a-hole, just a little bit because of the kids present. That's it. What about you guys? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Soulmates Mate says, "Not the a-hole. She is in need of a husband. She knows you have a good one. If only she could get you out of the picture. Surely your husband would be with her for the sake of his brother. No good options. If you get a restraining order, your nephew or husband is cut from the family. Best I can think of is to have your husband tell her off and tell her not to come by. Have the only time this woman is around your husband be at family gatherings where family members other than you can take the role of shutting her down. Other than her designs for your husband, is she a decent person? If she had a boyfriend, would that settle her down? Pause. Dating apps exist. Curious14595 says, everybody sucks here. Obviously, sister-in-law is a huge hole and she's embarrassing and desperate. She may need mental health assistance since her strange obsession is increasing. You did mishandle the situation and you were unnecessarily cruel about it, and it obviously was inappropriate in front of kids, especially hers. This sounds, including your attack on her, like some trashy Jerry Springer low-class race to the gutter fracas. Have some dignity, your husband is right. And Jessica1111 says, you're the a-hole. It would have been fine until you said that line about the child being better off without his mom and calling her a floozy in front of everyone. She was being low, but you went lower. So you're the a-hole. And to this, OP responded, I know I could have said it nicely, but can you blame me? I've been keeping quiet cause I know my husband wants to handle it himself, but the woman just isn't budging. It was like a boiling kettle ready to flow over, and it did. If you were in my situation with all the stress and emotions of a ticking time bomb, would you have handled it differently? OP's at it. Thanks for all the comments and votes. Little update. I get where I may be in a hole, but with the feelings I had, not really possible. I'm quite the person with anger issues. It has died down a bit cause I got some help and also the support of my husband. But there are times when you really just can't control it. By the way, my husband and I had a little talk about the incident. He said I wasn't wrong in the part of correcting her, but was wrong in the part where I insulted her. He was just a little disappointed with how I handled the situation, letting my anger take control of me. As for my mother-in-law, she called us and asked if I was okay. She did reprimand me for my actions, but was also sympathetic to the fact that I was offended by Kelly. She asked if Kelly and I could come over and have a talk, straighten things out and see if Kelly needs help. She explained how Kelly's actions may not be favorable, but her situation is something to feel pity for. Mother-in-law thought that losing her son, Kelly's husband-ish, and having to take care of a child alone was too much for her. This is why she asked if it would be okay if I talked to Kelly and explained to her why what she did wasn't okay. And if Kelly refuses to listen, then mother-in-law said she would have to handle it herself. As for my husband, he understands if I'm not ready to face Kelly, but tells me it would be the better option. She suggested that we go low contact with her for a while, not completely cutting her off for the sake of the child. Update number 1. Kelly's sister saw my post and commented. By Conator Apollo 14 says, Sister of Kelly here, I don't think Lexi, OP, is the a-hole here. My sister has been a nuisance to everyone. You think she did all that cause she's grieving? Hell no, she's been cheating on her boyfriend even before he died. She even wanted to abort the kid cause she doesn't know who the father might be. But she lucked out cause the kid looks like her dead boyfriend. The BTCH even went out of her way to steal my boyfriends. The last straw was my ex-fiancé whom she effed after the death of her boyfriend. None of my family members would talk to her. They cut her off completely. I, on the other hand, have kept tabs on her. She's back crap crazy. Lexi, tell me what time you're going to meet your mother-in-law and that which I'll be going with you. Update number 2. So I went out to speak with mother-in-law and Kelly. She brought her kid, along with my husband, Kelly's sister Kayla, and Kelly's friend and neighbor Pat. This all happened at my mother-in-law's house. I might shorten some of the parts, and for those who are wondering about father-in-law, he died due to COVID-19. Pat is Kayla's connection to Kelly and her nephew's life. Again, sorry if this sounds confusing. I'm Bisaya and not really that great at English grammar. For starters, mother-in-law asked us about the incident and why it led to me name-calling Kelly, but she let us know that she is recording everything. I told her that it may not be obvious to her, but Kelly has been openly trying to get my husband's attention, like how she wants him over at her house and how she wants to go somewhere with only the 3 of them to make it seem as though they are a perfect family. Kayla snorted a laugh at the perfect family comment and said, Really? I thought you already had a guy for that. Was it his name David or was it Michelle? Oh wait, it has to be Rashid, you know, the Indian guy you introduced your son to. The comment got my mother-in-law's attention, asking Kayla what she meant, to which Kayla said, Do you know why Sam, late brother-in-law, didn't want to marry my sister, Mrs. Mother-in-law? She continued, It's because he knew of her cheating escapades. And furthermore, Sam was my ex whom she stole by opening her legs. Mother-in-law then looked at Kelly, to which she said it wasn't true and the reason why he wouldn't marry her is because of Kayla, because Kayla was seducing her husband. Sister-in-law chimed in to say, In which part are you his wife? You claim my brother is your husband and you yet were the reason why he died. Side note, brother-in-law died of a heart attack after a very heated argument between them in which she threatened to take the child and forbade him from ever seeing the kid. In our country, if the child is younger than 7, he must stay with the mother unless the mother is no longer capable. After sister-in-law's contribution, Kayla shouted, "He was only waiting for the child to be older than 7 to get him off your filthy absive claws." In all the chaos, mother-in-law is just there sitting and shocked at all the revelation happening in front of her. She thinks that she can redeem Kelly's character in the talk, but it turns out there are no redeeming qualities in her. So when Kayla said something about Kelly absing her young son, she just couldn't hold it and slapped the crap out of Kelly, which made Kelly fall over. I'm not mentioning the abscess the child went through. It's quite horrific and will only be available to our lawyer. Kelly stood up in tears and anger and said, "Fine. You want that bastard of a child? You can have him. Swallow him up if you can. I don't need any extra baggage to be with me," and took off, leaving the child in my mother-in-law's care. Mother-in-law almost had a heart attack after everything that happened. She was so mad that she had been the reason why this had been going on. In her words, "I encouraged her to stay for the sake of the child. I should have filed for custody even before. We told her it wasn't her fault. She was just concerned about the child since he just lost his father." But after that, mother-in-law called up her lawyer friend and asked for help getting custody of the child. She is now in the process of filing for custody on the basis that the mother is a danger to her child and had Kayla and Pat as witnesses for the abscess case. We also had a therapist scheduled for the boy to help him process everything that's currently happening and for him to recover from the abscess. My husband, on the other hand, wanted to get the child and adopt him as our own after everything settled down. Final update. I'm making this post to address people's concerns and also about the things that happened after the filing. So, for the people who asked if Kayla and Pat knew of Kelly's abscess of her child, why didn't they report it? Well, they did actually, and Kayla was the one who reported it after Pat had told her. She even had pictures of the bruise the kid had. But after she reported it, the officers who went in to do a welfare check didn't find anything. Kelly explained that the kid was just too clumsy and the bruises were a result of it. They believed her statement without asking the kid and left without any further investigation. Furthermore, Kelly filed a harassment suit against Kayla. So, Pat was the only way Kayla was able to keep tabs on the kid and Kelly. She documented the abscess along the way. We also found out that she was toxic to Sam, accusing him of cheating and also laying hands on him. The guy was too nice to lay hands on women. I guess they got that from their mom. The cheating part might be from their dad. He cheated on mother-in-law, Fredolyn, and another kid that mother-in-law miscarried due to finding out about father-in-law's infidelity. Again, as for those who asked how brother-in-law died, I don't really mean he died then and there. He was hospitalized after suffering a heart attack and then he died. Brother-in-law wasn't the type to watch his diet, so that might be the reason as to why his health dropped so rapidly. While hospitalized, we found out he was diabetic as well, a result of a very unhealthy way of living. He drank soda like it was water and rarely ate anything healthy, only fast food. Didn't really take his meds on time because he believed they were going to kill him one day. So for the events after the filing, sister-in-law and her husband came to our house for a visit. We had a little talk, and sister-in-law's husband went to have a word with my husband. According to my husband, he was asked why he never stopped Kelly's crazy antics from the beginning, as sister-in-law's husband did when she started to flirt with him. My husband replied that he thought Kelly was a grieving widow with a fatherless child and he didn't want to offend her. He thought it was just her way of coping with the loss. To this I replied, "So you really aren't a complete idiot, just a little bit." He was a little offended but accepted still. As he said, he should have stopped things as soon as he thought it was getting a little too awkward. Sister-in-law Fredolyn had also talked to me about the kid. She asked us not to adopt him as it might be a complication in the near future. I asked why. As the child does not inherit the sins of its mother. She said that it might be true, but deciding not to adopt the child and leave him with mother-in-law would be the better option as it wouldn't fuel any more of Kelly's crazy and toxic behavior. I told her I would talk this out with my husband and try to make him consider all the factors at play. So, I'm now going to talk things out with my husband first thing tomorrow morning. I just hope he understands and will accept sister-in-law's suggestions. Wish me luck. Also, I think I might be pregnant. Haven't had my period for 3 days now and I'm really craving for mango dipped in vanilla ice cream with chili toppings. And that's all we know so far. Of course, if there's anything coming out later, I will be updating you guys about it. Now, on the story, I think Fredolyn is on the right track regarding who should adopt the kid. I think it should stay with the mother-in-law and then have family support. And just one side note, I understand that OP is frustrated and that what her husband did with not shutting Kelly down was wrong, but I don't think it's right to just call him an idiot like that in front of everybody. Insulting your partner is never a good way to go in my opinion. In any case, thank you so much for sharing, OP, and hope you got that mango dipped in vanilla ice cream with chili toppings. It sounds really nice. And after all of that, I think we should finish this video with a mood booster post. So let's go ahead and do that. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Jack's Magic Man. My 8-year-old daughter just malicious complied me. I am tired of seeing her clothes all over her floor when she has a laundry basket right there in her room. So I went off on her and told her to get all her dirty clothes off the floor and into the laundry room. I go about doing some other things, and I come back and there are still some towels and socks on the floor. So I tell her to get those too, and she says, "I didn't know you meant towels." And I say, "Get everything that is washable off your floor and into the laundry room." I come back up 20 minutes later, and every stuffed animal and sheet along with the towels are in the laundry room now, because in her words, "You said everything washable." OP's edit. I want to point out that while this is malicious compliance, she did it with a smile. And there was no yelling or anything. It was a moment of, "You got me from me," and she knew exactly what she was doing and gave me a smile and took the stuffies out without much asking. It was all in good fun on her part. She did get OP. Kid logic is awesome. Thanks so much for sharing.